Hi, guys. It's me, yours truly, Beverly Sherelle Johnson, lifestyle health coach and consultant, registered nurse for over 33 years, known as the Uncommon Flexitarian, and the creator of Eat What. Eat What is my weekly program that gives you resourceful information, education, and connection to people and services, and also in the healthcare industry, but also gives you information regarding the USDA and FDA food safety and health concerns. It is my goal that you receive knowledge, confidence, and competence in knowing what to eat, what exactly to eat for your body, for your health, to build your immunity, to build your overall health so that you can look good, feel good, and have a more positive outlook on life. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Eat What. Now, guys, remember, if you are a member of Eat What, or if you're inviting someone in, please invite people in. We'd love to grow this group. We'd love to hand out information that is free for everyone. Resourceful information and education regarding health and all aspects of health, particularly when it comes to eating. Remember, if you've ever missed a live episode, you can always go to the members area of our Facebook group. Go to the members area and click on the media tab. Click on the tab and you'll see every video that we've ever done. And if you click on the files tabs, you will be connected to every article that we have posted. All right. So don't forget about that fine feature that we have as a member of this great community. Now, this week's topic, we are continuing talking about eating for our spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. Now, just to give a brief recap before we go into our final discussion on this regarding the physical ways we should be eating. Well, what I would like to say as a brief recap, remember we talked about ourselves as being three-dimensional beings. We are three-dimensional beings. We are spirit, we are mind, and we are body. And one thing that we have to remember, since we are three-dimensional, we have to feed all three dimensions. We must feed all three dimensions if we're talking about total health, total wellness. You must feed all three dimensions. To feed our spiritual health does not necessarily mean that you are attached to religion, but it means that you are finding inner peace through spirituality. And if you are in spirituality, and which we all are a part of, but if you are practicing spirituality, yes, you can have also a religious base or background. All right, there's not one that is exclusive of the other. You can be in both. You can be in both. Religion, of course, it subscribes to a specific set of rules and practices governed by a group, usually a group or community of people. And spirituality focuses more upon your inner peace, regaining a what is referred to as a center. When we're talking about our mental health, we're talking about taking that spiritual basis that we have and focusing our attention on not only maintaining the most optimal form of our spirituality, but feeding ourselves both naturally and spiritually with what our mind needs. Remember, our mind needs direction. Our mind needs to hear where it's going to go. So we speak positive affirmations to our mind, but not just positive affirmations on top of negative thoughts. We weed out negative thoughts and we replace those negative thoughts with positive affirmation, positive direction, positive guidance, positive goals. Because if you just leave the mind, and remember we talked about this last year when we talked about mindset. If we just leave our mind to itself, it's going to naturally go toward the negative. Our thoughts are naturally negative, and that's why we must continually renew our minds with positivity. So that's our spiritual, that's our mental. Today we are talking about eating for our spiritual, I'm sorry, for our physical health. And before you think, well, we're talking about eating more fruits, eating more vegetables. Yes, that is a great part of it. And yes, we should be eating more fruits and more vegetables, more live foods that feed our bodies, feed our cells, and not to put junk into our foods, into our beings. But more so than that, which we do always talk about that on this program, but more so than that, we ought to be focused upon not only what we put into our bodies food wise, but how that connects to both the spiritual and the mental. Now, how many of you have heard of the term intuitive eating or eating by intuition? Now, that is a term that has been out there for a very, very long time, and it focuses on one's ability to assess before the body gets. Now, when you're talking about hunger, of course, hunger is a sensation in the body that denotes that something is off balance. There is lack in some area. There is lack, and an equilibrium needs to be restored. Now, if you're intuitively thinking about this, then you're going to assess your body in a variety of ways. Now, there are many, many articles on the subject regarding intuitive eating. So I suggest that you do your research, but I also will be posting articles. I also will post articles in the members area for you to read, and even a quiz. There's a quiz that I think would be very, very good for you to for you to take, just for your own edification. When we're talking about intuitive eating, we're talking about listening to our bodies. We are listening to our bodies. We are listening for not only, oh, I need to eat because I feel a sensation of hunger, but what does that hunger connect me to? All right, is the hunger a signal of stress? Is it a signal of there's just lack of food? Is are other outside circumstances making the gastric juices bubble and make you feel that as if you are hungry when you really are not? All of this is involved in intuitive eating. Now, one thing that we can all do, like I said, I always suggest that you get in touch with your healthcare providers, your healthcare team, that medical doctor of osteopathy, your nurse practitioner, all those, even your herbalist, all those who are involved in your health, so that they can help you devise a plan for better health. We need to start doing better health, all of us. No one has arrived. No one has arrived to perfection in this area. So we just need to keep evolving toward better health. And staying in contact with your healthcare team helps you do that. It really does help you do that. Well, first thing I really want to draw your attention to when we're talking about eating by intuition is to focus on something we really don't pay a lot of attention to, and that is our breathing. Breathing is so, so important, especially when you're going to feed your body, not only spiritually, mentally, or physically, but you're going to feed it in a way that you will receive nourishment. You will receive optimal nourishment and just won't be eating empty calories. Okay, so when we're talking about the physical aspects of intuition, we are talking about focusing first of all on our breathing. Now, of course, when you're feeling those hunger pains, our natural response is, let me kill the hunger pain, then I can be concerned about breathing later. I understand that totally. But what we need to do is to make a plan for our wellness, make a plan for our wellness and in our physical being as well. This does not only just include exercises and drinking water and eating right, but it also includes being at peace if we're combining the spiritual and the mental so that we flow into the physical and have a better chance at better health. We're going to focus in on our breathing. Now, what does this mean to focus in on your breathing? This means that, of course, hopefully you do make a plan about what you're going to eat. You're making good choices about what foods to put into your body. But it also means that you desire to just check and see if the hunger pains that you are feeling are really associated with hunger. All right, that is part of eating by intuition. Eating by intuition. And there are a lot of foods, there are a lot of sensations, I should say, within the body that can be satisfied by the emotional messages that food gives us. But we want to make sure if we're eating for better physical health and we're combining both the spiritual and the mental, we want to make sure that we're eating the right things for the right purpose. Breathing is so very, very important. One thing that we should do before we start our day, first of all, is to settle our minds. I don't know if you get up by an alarm clock or not. Some people do, some people don't. I have done so for years. I'm now recognizing that perhaps that is not the best way. That is not the best way to alarm my body, as the term alarm uh, as term alarm often indicates, a shocking into the waking moments. But what you should do, if you must use an alarm clock, just allow yourself, after that alarm clock has rung and you're thanking your creator for the day that you have now graced, quiet your mind, quiet your senses, and set right then and there the tone for your day. Breathe, have a time of meditation, whatever that means for you. For me, it means prayer. For me, it means prayer. It means for me, instead of grabbing my phone and scrolling through what happened in the hours preceding, but it means that I am putting my phone down, turning it off if it is on, and just getting connected with God. That's what I do. All right. But I suggest that you try this as well, and see how much better your day flows. After doing that, after checking in with God, and the time that you choose to do that, how many minutes or hours you plan to do that is up to you. But when you're checking in with God, just check in and spend that time thanking your creator for every system that you have in your body. And when you're talking about breathing, you're talking about being at peace, you're being relaxed, you're focusing not on the exterior that's going around you, but you're focusing on your interior. That is a wonderful way to start your day when you're talking about eating intuitively. Once you have completed your prayers or your morning meditations, and that may include some exercises, which is perfect for the morning, open your body up, so to speak, with water. Water, lemon and water is fantastic. Lemon and water is fantastic for cleansing the body from the night's rest, hydrating your cells, cleansing your digestive tract, getting it ready for the day. Lemon and water works very, very well, very, very well doing this. But definitely, definitely alert your body that it's time to wake up by refreshing it with water. Now, going on towards eating. Now, I still have not turned on my phone or checked in to see what else is going on. If you have not planned previously, the day before, the week before, what you're going to eat that morning, this gives you time to really think about, what do I need to eat? What is my body telling me? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? I know I need to eat, but what does my body need at this time? Now, and that might vary for each of you. For me, that generally means, after water intake, there's fruit, There's usually lentils. 90% of the time, there's a bowl of lentils, and there may be another starch, but more than likely, no starch such as a wheat bread or so, but more than likely, lentils and fruit are, along with water, is enough to give me the satiety that I need to begin my day in health. Pay attention. Don't just grab something out of the refrigerator and say, okay, it's time for breakfast. What can I eat? And just start cooking, or grabbing that bowl of cereal, or just make more of an effort to plan. And when you plan for success, success comes to you. All right. When you're planning for success, even in the area of eating, success will come to you. Now that your body is fed, I would turn now to my phone and see the events of the day, the things that I need to prioritize. Now, I have not contacted anyone yet at this time, but I might be scrolling through my phone or looking at my emails and seeing which I need to answer more immediately, and what I need to do to set my day in order. Of course, this might be different for each and every one of us, but while doing so, my body is at rest, it is at peace. I am noticing my breathing. I am realizing I'm taking deep cleansing breaths, and that is so important. I'm not getting excited. I am not getting upset. There's a lot of things that are going along, but I make sure that I keep checking in with my peace. No matter what's going on, no matter what you see in the emails, no matter what's happening out there in the world, you must maintain your peace. All right. So there are certain foods, and then I continue on with my day. But there are certain foods that help us with this. And I thought it was this article I'm going to include in our members area, but I thought it would be interesting if I told you about some of the foods and the emotional messages that these foods give to us. It might be interesting, and I'm going to just highlight this article for us right now. And like I said, it will be available along with the quiz in the members area. So, all righty, all right. Now, when we're talking about eating for our physical health, eating for our physical health. So, when we're talking about eating for our physical health, we want to look at the types of food that we're putting into our bodies. Like I said, after breakfast, you still want to do the same thing, not to get so caught up in the day, but notice and practice being present for your food, chewing your food thoughtfully, and just enjoying every mouthful, not rushing through the day. Definitely, if at all possible, feeding your body with the best of nutrition, and not with processed foods. Okay. All righty then. All right. But I do want to give some attention to some of these food items that are highlighted in this article. Now, it says, if you're and this is connection to our emotional parts. This is a connection to our emotional well-being as well. Our attitude and our behaviors really determine how we process things, how we feed ourselves physically as well. Okay, if you're someone who enjoys crunchy foods, nothing wrong with that. But according to this article, if you're enjoying crunchy foods, then crunchy foods help us act out our anger in a safe way. So you might want to pay attention to your anger. It provides us an outlet so that we don't have to deal with the people or circumstances causing us to be angry. Now, that's very, very interesting. If you're finding yourselves, and this is just being intuitive, being in touch with your body and why you eat what you eat. If you're eating salty foods, according to the article, this denotes fear. Yes, according to the article, this would denote fear. All right. And When we crave salty foods because we want to have more spice in our lives, but we're scared to take the risk. When you're eating high gluten or wheat products, when you're eating high gluten or wheat products, this is the way for our body to receive comfort and safety. Comfort and safety is the message here, according to this article. Alrighty? And when you're eating with comfort and safety, and what's more comforting, as this article says, than a warm cinnamon roll or mashed potatoes, but gluten products give us this feeling of comfort and of safety that we need in a non-threatening way. Sugar, of course. When we're eating sugar, we're craving excitement. We are craving excitement, and we see that so much. We see that so much. Alrighty. And if we are unable, as the article says, to allow someone else to share our joy with us, we can use sugar as a substitute. When you're eating dairy products, and that includes milk, ice cream, fatty cheeses, love is what we are craving, according to the article. Our first touch with dairy products was probably breast milk or a maybe an industrialized form of formula. But our first touch with dairy is usually breast milk, and that conveys love. It conveys closeness. So when you're thinking about that, when you're craving these things, or you are finding that when you're intuitively looking at what you're eating and you're looking at dairy a lot, this is probably the underlying emotion connected with it. Alrighty, chocolate. Now this was a very interesting one. Chocolate, according to this article, says we're all sensual and sexual beings. Of course, we know we are, but the chocolate has to do with sexual drive. Eating chocolate is a safe way to feel sensual when our life lacks romance. Now, these are just some of the messages that that food can give to us, and we have to be mindful of how we're eating intuitively, so that we recognize, well, am I feeling, for instance, am I feeling a lack of love? Then you know, well, maybe I should find the time or the space to find more love in my life. First love of self, and then moving on from there, and not use food to medicate an emotion that it needs to be healed. That needs to be healed. Just put it in short. Fatty foods. Fatty foods is another category here in this article. Okay, it says fatty foods is connected to our emotions of shame. Fatty foods connected to our emotions of shame. It hides our internal shame. It also allows us to cocoon into a bubble of shame, better known as fat. Now, this is according to this article. Alrighty. After all, letting someone in close might make us feel even worse about ourselves. That's some of the emotional aspects of food. Some of the emotional aspects of food. So when we're talking about eating intuitively, we really would like to pay attention to our emotions. What are we feeling at this time? And not just shovel food into our mouths, because every time we feel our stomach give us that little quiver, that we think that we are hungry. Or one other that I would like to include: corn is equated with success. All right, that's a good. I do like a lot of corn. We all want to feel and be successful. Eating corn or corn products can not only momentarily endue us with a sense of professional success, but it can also cushion us from deep-seated feelings of insecurity and failure. See? Well, we all need to pay attention to how we're eating. What foods are we drawn to? Salty, crunchy, or even salty, crunchy, sugary foods that are full of fat. Wow, there's several things that we can look at here. And there will be a quiz. There will be a quiz that will help you with this. I think this article is very good. Very good. Also, there are mental messages that our body receives through foods. And this article goes briefly into that. The mental messages. For example, when we're talking about crunchy foods, remember crunch and anger. Crunch is associated with the emotion of anger. Anger causes trouble. Therefore, if someone is angry with me, they don't love me. That's the underlying mental message, according to this article, that we would need to pay attention to when we're eating intuitively. Salty foods is dangerous. The mental message is dangerous to live, to be vibrant or enthusiastic. Being different causes rejection. Don't take risk. It's not safe to take risk. Mm, very, very interesting. High gluten or wheat products. No one will ever give me what I really need. The world isn't safe. I cannot rely on anyone but myself for love or comfort. That is a mental message that this article states is connected with high gluten or wheat products. Sugar. It's not okay. It is evil to have fun. I don't deserve to be joyful. Very, very interesting. Chocolate. Sex is bad. My sensuality is dangerous. Dairy, milk, cheese, all that we talked about in dairy. I am unlovable. No one will ever love me the way I really am. Love is conditional. Now, it's a lot that's conditional love is a lot is a real experience that a lot of people experience. It's a real thing that a lot of people experience. And oftentimes we try to feed the emotional or the mental message with food, which causes us to gain weight or not be as healthy as what we could be. So we really need, you have to see here the connection between the spiritual and the mental leads us to how we eat and feed ourselves physically. Very, very important. Alcohol. People will hurt me if I show who I really am. No one will accept my true self. Hmm. Corn. Corn leads to pride. Corn leads to pride. Success leads to pride. I am a failure. I will never succeed. Fatty foods. I am a bad person. I don't deserve anything good. I am unworthy of love. Wow. Now, the emotional and the mental messages that we receive, that according to this article, again, you can disagree, but eating for our physical health and connecting it with the spiritual and the mental, we can see how this all flows together. You're never just eating just to stop the hunger pains. If you're eating intuitively, then you are eating because there is another need. Now, that need might be hunger. That need might essentially be hungry, and that is hunger, and that is fine. But make sure that when you're feeding what you believe is hunger, that you're doing it for the right reasons, the right spiritual reasons, the right mental reasons, the right emotional reasons. Therefore, you would not overeat or cause your body to go into a area of distress, putting on more weight than perhaps you desire to, or even if it's not the weight issue, eating the healthiest that you can, so that you're really feeding your cells with health and not trying to cover up an emotion that needs to be healed. Well, like I said, these articles will be in the group. Of course, I'd love for you to join our Facebook group. Just, you can always direct message me at Beverly Sherelle Johnson. Sherelle is spelled Cherelle. I welcome your comments, your questions. I welcome all of that. You can also email me at betterlivingwithplants@gmail.com. betterlivingwithplants@gmail.com. Now, this ends this topic on this topic of eating for our spiritual, mental, and physical health. Next week, we will embark upon another series, of course, health guaranteed, health garnered, and health guided, so that we learn how to eat. We learn how to eat not only to satisfy our hunger pains, but making sure that we're eating for the right reasons. all of this leads to our success. It leads to our health and our wealth, both spiritually, mentally, and physically. And when we learn to feed our bodies in the right way, in the three dimensions that we are, we not only give glory to our creator, but we also are better versions of ourselves, to ourselves and to others. Again, this is Beverly Sherelle Johnson. I'll see you next time on another edition of Eat What. See you then. Bye bye.